Hey, welcome back to Warhammer Station. I'm Colin, and it's been about a week or a little bit more, and we're back with what's been going on. Uh, Lots of little things. There is Wasteland Wars this weekend. I'm driving down there tonight. Me and my friend Josh are going down. We're going to do a night joust. I'll go over that in a minute. And then, of course, the GT6 games on three on Saturday, three on Sunday, and we're going to see how it goes. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm playing Custodes. I'll go into my list here in a minute too, and it's going to be really neat. Um, so they got it on Best Coast Pairings. They got it on Facebook, and this is the top prize and some prize packs here and there, and it's some really cool stuff that is coming across, and it's got a lot of really, you can tell, really dedicated 40K players that are running and participating in this event. Tonight is a night joust. I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and me and one other team have entered so far. I'm sure we'll get more in there, but it's you team up with somebody and build a knot. Where I think we're both going to take knot tyrant equivalents or the Castellan equivalents. 2+ armor save might go pretty far, and we're going to have a joust off and see how it goes. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Forge World model, so maybe with somebody had that new Lancer, maybe with somebody have an old Resin Lancer or something like that, that 4+ invul save is going to be tough to get through. But super looking forward to that. This is the players pack, and there's a lot to this. You know, there's all the schedules of how things are going to play. There's all the basic rules guidelines, and there's everything you've ever seen anywhere before. If you want to use tactical secondaries, you got to generate the mission with the Tabletop Battles app. That seems, I feel kind of a way about that, but it doesn't matter that much. I'm sure that's fine. You know that one downside to using that is you know what cards are available in there. If you're using the deck, you only have I guess. You have to use your memory, right? You can't see it on a screen, and so you have to use a little bit more skill and knowledge to plan on what's going to be available out there. What potentially you could draw. What they're worried about is people having fake cards. I guess they have some issue with that. Let's see what's next. Chess clock. I've never had any issue with chess clocks. I'm playing the Custodes, not many models, but I'm going to own one. I guess we'll see. They're pretty lenient on their WYSIWYG. That's going to be good. The missions, they're not using deploy servo skulls. If y'all have played that one, it's pretty awful. You have to move the objectives and they're real slow. You score a bunch of points at the end of the game. The terrain is basically GW terrain, but if it has a window, it's considered blocked out. So that's pretty cool. You know, towering will still work. You know, in the Lone Star Open, the stuff was infinitely high, pretty much. But if it had a window, you could shoot from terrain piece to terrain piece pretty much. But if you were behind it, you couldn't. So this is basically saying that first floor is going to be, you can't see through it, but you can see around it. So that's pretty neat. I think that'll make for some fun games. And of course, the code of conduct, it even has in here, wear deodorant if you're going to sweat profusely. Looking forward to this. I mean, gosh, it's just fun. I only have to drive 2 hours, and splitting a Airbnb with a friend of mine, so it's not expensive. And it's just going to be a good time with making more friends and getting the Warhammer Station name out there a little more. I want to transition, and we'll go over my list right fast. This is my list. I don't think it has enough units in it, but I couldn't think of enough stuff I wanted to take out of it. And then once again, none of the characters have any enhancements on them, and so the enhancements the one I would have put on him is the Veal Blade, and it basically gives him 2 extra attacks and triples the objective control. But in my experience, this guy dies pretty fast anyway. And I'm having trouble thinking, should I put him with the Wardens or should I put him with the Guard? On one hand, he can get across really fast because the Wardens are extra durable with their -1 to wound ability and their 4+ feel no pain. And then, so this guy can get across, and you could spend a command point for the precision and kill a key character or something, right? It wouldn't be that bad. But if you get rerolls with 1s and rerolls to everything if you're controlling an objective with the Custodian Guard. But the Shield Captain and Trajan both can benefit from the shoot twice, which Trajan really will, but relying on that's kind of like a folly to me. So I guess it depends on the matchup. And I really want to take the Alaris Brick because they're the Night Killers. They're the Horde Killers. I could split their fire with their grenade launchers and do really well. They're really good at moving across the field and doing some damage, disappearing and coming back. The Vindicare, he just fit perfectly in the list. I don't have a Calidus. I probably would be better off with a Calidus Assassin. But it works every time. It works 60% of the time, or 60% of the time. It works every time, whatever you want to say. But maybe taking out a key character would be good. But jumping on an objective is where this guy's going to be really shine at the start of the game to get that early mode in there and to deny other deep strikers or other people showing up that are going to do some damage to him. In one game, I put him up really high to take advantage of plunging fire. That was pretty neat. Of course, the Wardens jump across, the 2 Guard. I'm not 100% on what the construction of the unit is. I like the idea of the shields, and I don't mind giving up a Vexilla to get those. They each got 4 wounds because of the shield. So maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. I've had some luck with it so far in dodging those 3 damage attacks. Of course, we all know about all the abilities of the Shield Captains, and that's come into great effect having 2 of those on either end of the table. Both of them fighting first, or both of them getting an extra attack, or both of them getting +1 to wound. Whatever it is you want to do, these guys put in work. And of course, Trajan, wherever he's at, does some awesome work. It's really fun. So that's the list. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to cover in this. I'm going to do my best to post stuff to Instagram on the story. I'll see if I can do a post with some other stuff on there, how it goes. I hope you're rooting for me out there. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm the most tactically minded, and obviously I don't think my list is the best, but I know I'm going to have a lot of fun. I know it's going to be competitive. Give me a minute. I want to transition. Let's see if I can find what the breakdown of the competition in the list is. I think I saved that somewhere. So this is the breakout of how many armies there are that are going to attend Wasteland Wars. The total is 44 of us out there, and the most being Adeptus Custodes, followed by Necrons, only 3 Eldar, only 3 Tyranids, and if you get down into it and you're counting Chaos, there's a decent number of Space Marines out there. And so it makes me feel really good because the Custodes do really good in the Space Marines. This list, I looked it up. There is that's a what do you call that? Raven Guard list. And leagues, I don't even know. I don't know anything about them, but I know they're one of the lowest win percentages, along with Space Wolves. So, you know, if we copy this out there, there's not many Space Marines. Yeah, 16 of them. And that makes up division sign 36% of the field there, with Custodes being even still almost 6% of the field. So, I mean, this isn't going to be some cakewalk. These people aren't going to be pushovers. You know, the Gene Stealer cults are going to be hard. If you run into an Eldar, usually people playing this stuff, they know what they're doing, right? If you're spending this much money to travel to an event. Of course, one of my good friends is Imperial Knights. But there is a lot of stuff where these things just don't add up. You know, I guess another thing we can do, the lists are available to look at. I know a lot of people in the YouTube video were looking at the orcs list, so let's glance through some of those right fast and transition there. So here's a list of all the people playing. Of course, there's me, Warhammer Station, the Death Watch. I'm sorry, I don't know much about all these guys, but it looks like this is a mega shooty list. I've seen other people play something like this, that it's really just so many shots and so many devastating shots with this apothecary that it's going to be kind of tough, you know. Let's see, how do I get back? This is our World Leaders list. That looks really cool. You know, I like them a lot. 3 basic Juggernauts and then Lord Invocatus, the max you can take of mounted things. It seems like it's really cool. I'm wondering how this is going to work. I know they're going to go good with the Berserkers. But then there's a Helldrake in here. And of course, these Blood Crushers, there's not enough of them that are going to drop in and do enough. It seems like a fun list, but not an effective one. It's going to be neat to see how that works. Kevin Spivey is playing the Orcs. And 2 mechs, Gretchen, Ludas, Stampa, 2 big Stampas, Storm Boys. There's the guys on the YouTube video saying that list is painted really, really nice. It's going to be really fun to see how 1,600 points of these guys are going to do out on the table. I don't know anything about them. Hopefully I learn about them. I want to take a picture of this, ask them how it goes, and we'll see how that does. It looks pretty neat. It really does. I know some people are going to be excited about that list. This is another Custodes list. Only 2 characters, 2 big Guardian squads, Prosecutors, a small Alaris, and 2 Calidus Grav tanks, and a Calidus Assassin. You know, these guys, the tanks are just so hit or miss. I don't know them. I might consider taking one if I had them, but I don't. And so I think it ends up being like 430 points to take these tanks. And I'd rather take other stuff. You know, there's no Wardens in here. And I think with the Rydalar stuff, you can kill Knights just fine. And I don't, I don't fancy seeing, I don't think that tank is exactly where it needs to be that effective. So we'll see how these Custodes lists go. Let's look at one more down at the bottom. 3 characters: Blade Champion, Shield Captain, 2 Shield Captains. He's doing MSU Custodian Guard with 2 Alaris and a big thing of Wardens and a Calidus Assassin. So I'm kind of thinking that missing out on that Calidus Assassin is going to be a big deal if I have to face somebody with one. but the MSU is going to reduce the effectiveness, I guess, unless they both get the charge off or something like that. I feel like being able to get the most effectiveness out of a command point is where it needs to be, and having the MSU stuff is not taking advantage of that fact. But this list has way more units. They might be able to do the mission a lot better because they can just be spread out and taking control of stuff easier compared to my list. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say about the Wasteland Wars and my trip down there. Hopefully you can join me. I'll post some Instagram updates and let you know how it goes. These games are a lot of fun. These are with my local people. I don't know if they know me that well. I know a few people here and there. Patrick the Tau guy and some of the other ones who are playing. Of course, I'm going down with Josh. I'll tell you how he does as well. The Instagram is at warhammer.station. Of course, you can check out YouTube. Hopefully, maybe I can get some stuff on there. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Join me. Throw up some comments. Let me know what you think. And maybe we'll see you there. Thank you.